and someone was out of this window, and at that point I went in. I'm saying to myself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find him, but I look up and I see the opening, and as I walk about another 10 feet, I notice that Captain Morgan is lying face down in between the two piles of wood stock or lumber, and he's face down. There's no movement. I notice that he has no helmet.
Well, once I saw Firefighter Specialist Ibarra down there working with the victim, and then I saw another fireman come into the room and begin to help him. So it was at that point I kind of realized that they had found another way down in there, and it was going to be much easier to take him out that way rather than us try to bring him up through the hole. It's one of the things that we train for, but it's really actually a pretty difficult evolution, especially under those type of circumstances.
We got up to Captain Morgan and shook him. Hey, 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 are you okay? And he actually talked to us, which was like a sigh. It gives me the chills to think about it. It was a sigh of relief. And the only thing he said was that, I need air.
I saw them in their fire gear, BAs, and I said, great. You know, we kept the fog pattern going. And at that time, I kind of relieved the fog pattern a little bit and put it back underneath us because we had still fire burning underneath us. And the floor started giving away a little bit. It started getting real spongy on it. That's when Griffith came back to me, Captain Griffith, and grabbed me again and said, Don, conditions are bad. All I did is I turned around and told him we're staying here. We found him. We're staying here till he gets out.
I stood by to assist them in any other additional equipment they may need, and basically watch their back because the fires were starting to increase in size around us.
The next thing I know, somebody was squeezing me around the chest, and they were saying, come on, Captain, you got to help us get you out of here. Can I have a minute?
And I remember Captain Morgan stating, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And I'm yelling at him like, you're going to have to make it because we have to make it at this point. And then he states, I need air.
Couldn't find his mask, so I took my helmet off, I took my gloves off, and gave him air. I took a deep breath before I did it, put my mask on him, gave him air for maybe 30 seconds or so. And then at that time, Leo and I just decided, hey, let's get him up and out of the hole. And we just grabbed him and we handed him up to Captain Cabrera and firefighter Carisi.
When I first saw him, we laid him down. He did not appear to be breathing. He was unconscious. He had a lot of soot on his face. He was completely wet, drenched.
And we proceeded to lift him up to the higher level that we came in from, and we set him up on there was a railing that we come to find out afterwards, and we were holding him up there. We needed help because he was a lot heavier than you would think. I thought that we could lift him up, just the two of us, and it was very difficult.
Things were getting worse, but I could tell that the companies were asking for more water lines, things like that. They're working around us. There was a lot of confusion with people trying to become involved in the rescue and also fight the fire at the same time.
At that time, basically, we got up, stood up, and that's when I noticed the ceiling was on fire. We had fire actually rolling right over us on top of us. And I said, this is not getting good. And I said, let's get them out and get things going. And that time, we backed away from the hole, left the nozzles there, left some of our tools there, and concentrated getting Morgan up. They were bringing him up that time. My mask, my bell was going off on my BA. I was running out of air. I was actually starting to suck on my plexiglass on my mask, and I knew I had no more time.
At the street, again, there was just chaos. Everybody wants to put their hand on Captain Morgan, and it's understandable. He's one of our own, and everyone is circled around him, see whether or not he's still alive.
Picked me up and carried me out to the middle of the street. At that time, I remember someone coming up and talking to me and wanting to know what my name was when I was laying in the street. And I was kind of thinking, it's me, Gary. and apparently I look pretty bad.
And at this point, you know, he has movement, he is talking, but he is injured severely. And then not more than about 10 minutes, maybe less, we turn around and there was collapse of the roof, primarily in the area that we were in.
I've been back to work now for a couple of months, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the fire department for the support that I received, and I'd especially like to thank those members of our department that were involved in my rescue that night, and I just look forward to finishing up my career in the fire service.